Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Top of the morning in sunny California. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. That's how we do it around here, folks. It's nothing but straight talk. I have two wonderful co-hosts. You guys know who they are. You know, Mr. Keith Swanson, the AI man, you guys. He's with us. I tell you, AI is really rocking and rolling. AI is doing everything. Somebody told me that if you're looking for a mate, that AI know how to create one. Now, I don't know has it gone. I don't know if it's gone that far or not. If not, I better put more money into the stock. That's all I'm saying.
It's getting pretty close.
How you doing, Keith?
I am doing well. I am doing well. Just waiting for the upload. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you can have a conversation. You know, if you don't have anybody to talk to, you can get on chat, PI. It's a lot of tools out there.
Yes, it's not quite here yet, but it's getting close.
Yeah, but PI, you know, it speaks to you in voice. Chat gives it to you in word. Folks, I don't know. We trying to replace the human being? What's going on around here?
They're trying to mimic the human being, and they can do it already. They can give you an avatar, and it speaks to you in a real voice because they've collected enough material in any language that you want to talk to. In fact, there's one company that does train. You can actually make your own training videos with avatars. You just type in what you want to say, and it'll translate it, and it'll put up an avatar. You know, a human-looking avatar.
Have one to say something nice every morning when I wake up. Since I don't have any humans saying that, I have AI when I wake up.
Oh yeah, you can do it too.
Hello, Dr. Rosie. Oh, this is a wonderful day. You are so lovely. Oh, you're my girl.
If you get Google Assistant can do it in Snoop Dogg's voice.
Wow. Well, my other co-host, Shawannah, the real estate guru, she buys, sells, does everything to houses. How are you today?
We just call it a moneymaker. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing fantastic, Dr. Rosie and Keith. But you know, just so that you know, ChatGPT does talk to you as well. All you have to do is hit those little headphones to your right. That will allow Chat to talk to you. But also, Elon Musk had his girlfriend sitting right next to him, total AI.
Yeah.
So yes, you can get an AI.
You can't get an AI.
One that don't talk back.
Now, that's what I like.
Now, there's not a real AI, especially if it's a black woman, if she don't talk back now.
Now, we gonna talk back. I don't care what you say. We gonna talk back.
We're gonna talk back. It ain't a real black woman if she don't talk back.
That's right. Well, you guys, we have an interesting show for you today. We're going to talk about the three greatest challenges Black women face. I really think it's time that we have a national conference to really delve into what's going on with the Black woman, what she needs, how she can be supported, what changes need to be made. Because I believe once we heal the woman, the Black woman, heal the woman, heal the nation. People don't realize what strength, what's involved with having the Black woman to become whole and to become healthy physically and mentally, folks. That is the salvation of our nation, our Black nation. It really is. We cannot play it down any longer. We cannot talk about what she is and what she ain't and all that stuff. We got to look at What can we make her, create her to be? Because we need some changes. And the real change is going to come when we really embrace and hold the black woman into the goddess position that she is. So we're going to look at some of the things that faces the challenges of the black woman. And one of them is the myth of the strong black woman. Is it empowerment or is it emotional oppression? You know, black women, their expectation for black women to be resilient, strong in the face of adversaries. She's supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be deal with. You're a black woman. You can take it. Come on, folks. Often they expect this to happen at the cost of the black woman's mental health and emotional well-being. Man, can you imagine the pressure of living up to this stereotype? How it affects relationships? Because the man expect what, the woman's supposed to be black woman. She's supposed to be able to handle this. She's supposed to be able to get over this. She's supposed to be able to pick this up and move on. So don't think that does not seep into the mind of the men that the black woman is dealing with, because this stereotype definitely impacts relationships. Things that they would do or say to a black woman that they may not do or say to a woman of other ethnicity, because you are the strong black woman. You're the backbone. And black women, that stereotype is really causing pressure. And it can affect relationship, family dynamics, career choices. So I think it's time to redefine what strength means to the black woman today. That's a real challenge for the black woman, trying to live up to this stereotype that's been put on her back. She's strong, she can take it. No, she is no stronger than any other woman. The black woman needs everything that any other woman needs. I remember when I wrote the book, you guys, Why Black Men Choose White Women.
Oh.
And
I talked
to a lot of mothers, and I asked them, why is it that they treated their sons, girlfriends who were white different than the way they treated the black one? You know what they said to me? Well, you kind of have to go out of your way to make the white woman, feel comfortable, to feel accepted. Well, you don't have to do that with the black woman. She knows that she's accepted. So you got to be careful. In other words, they handled that person with kid gloves.
Mm-hmm.
They all admitted. Yeah, they admitted they treated her different. They treated her better.
They recognize it in culture too. So, they, even though I always hear that there's no difference between women, no, there is a difference between culture, and black women recognize it.
So that's a big problem that one of the challenges that black women have to face, having people in their life to realize, hey, am I a woman too? On a job, I mean, these stereotypes extend over on a job where you expect more from the black woman. Expect her to lift something heavier, to carry something heavier. People, this is a burden. This same burden with this stereotype on the black woman is the same burden that the black man carries on his back when it comes to his sexual prowess. Because the world, you ask anybody what you know about the black man, they won't tell you he was the first successful open heart surgeon. He invented blood plasma. But they'll start talking about the size of his penis, what he can do with it, how long he can do what he does.
Quick story, Dr. Rosie. There's a guy on YouTube called Chinese Historian, right? And he admits that, and I've heard this from other black guys, right, that live in China, Africans and black men that live in China, they, when they go to the gym, they do not shower in the gym, okay? It's because all the Chinese guys are trying to look at their penis to see the size of their penis.
To see if it's real.
See if it's real, see if it's big, okay? Because they've heard it, and so a lot of black guys are not comfortable with showering. I used to be not comfortable showering in front of white boys either. For the same reason.
You see what stereotypes really put a heavy burden on the backs of men, but particularly it carries over in the workplace, it carries over in relationships. It's a great challenge for black women. Then they go on to say that she how powerful she is and expect her to be able to
Yeah.
face every
And,
adversity.
and
And
but
then that, and
do
then
black?
turn around and say, you boss it, you control it.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
that's true. It comes along with it.
which way you want us to be?
But the thing is that I would love to say that that it's a stereotype, but black women embrace that stereotype. That's what's unfortunate about it. Because if you ask a black woman what does she like about herself, everything you just said, she's going to embrace it. She doesn't like the negative side that comes along with it. The thing is, she embraces that. She embraces that being bossy. She embraces being loud. She embraces being, as she says, seen, and she embraces being big. As the feminists put it, she embraces that. You know.
Well, you have to
Good.
understand, as I point out in my book, Nigga Please, I
Mm-hmm.
talk about the fact that the black woman is reared in
Mm-hmm.
reverse order to
Order. Yeah.
nature.
I use that all.
Reverse order to
I
nature.
use that all the time, Dr. Rose. I've been using that quote for years.
Yeah, in reverse order to nature
Mm-hmm.
because she had learned through
Mm-hmm.
slavery that her black man could not protect her.
Yes, and Pauli Murray said
Okay,
the exact same
she
thing.
she watched him being beaten in the town square because he tried to speak up. So
Mm-hmm.
then she reared her son to be docile
Mm-hmm.
because she looks at what happened to black men who stood up. Medgar Evers, Dr. King, Malcolm X. You guys, this is a real
Mm-hmm.
burden. Black women face a great challenge,
Mm-hmm.
even in rearing their children and in relationship to their men. So then you ask the question, why is it that the ratio of black women is so much higher
Mm-hmm.
than the other women who are married? You don't think this play a part in it? You
It
better
does.
ask yourself another question.
It
And
does.
that's how you hear black women say, well, I'm the backbone of the family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
independent. You don't hear any other women
Yeah.
talk about I'm independent. And I hear some say, well, I can do bad all by myself. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do bad by myself or
But
with someone.
because and this is something after listening to you and then you go out and reading the stuff and listening to how the black writers going all the way back to the 20s and 30s, right? And then you got to remember Patch Patriot, right? Basically the not Patriot, but the thing is that in 1750 to make slavery perpetual, right? They said the status of the womb was the status of the child. So if one comes from a black woman, it's a slave. If it comes from a white woman, it's free. So they put black women in charge of the family. Okay, so going back to 1750, and the black woman has been socialized to do that, and she has become to embrace that role.
That's what's interesting. People would always say to me, Keith, why
Mm-hmm.
are you always talking about the past, particularly when I delved
Mm-hmm.
into the book, Nigga Please, and why
Mm-hmm.
black men choose white women,
Right.
satisfying black men and black women sexually.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, People really had to come to the realization because they thought, well, why are you doing this? People are just people. Finally, they came to the realization that we are not Caucasian clones. We dance and step to a different beat. And once we embrace that, I think we started embracing it a little bit when it became popular to talk about diversity. Then
Yeah.
people begin, oh, Dr. Milligan, you've been saying that we are different. Yes, every ethnic group comes from a different culture background, and that does make them different. So it's important for us to realize the role that the black woman have been shaped into in this country. I mean, when her man did something to her, she went to the white man, and he would come to the house and tell the black man, well, you better not do this to her anymore. Folks, if you understood the past, if you understood what black men and women have come through, that's why when I hear black men saying the white man treats the black woman better, arguing like kids. The black
Mm-hmm.
woman did not come to America on American Airlines, nor TWA,
Mm-hmm.
nor Delta. She came on that same slave ship, beaten, stripped, branded,
Mm-hmm.
and mistreated,
Yeah. Yeah.
raped.
But black women and black men as slaves had two different roles. Black women were brought here to reproduce, you know, and black
All of
men
a
were brought
sudden
here.
now,
You know, the
now
black.
you don't want them to have babies, right? Y'all don't need to have no babies. Y'all need to have abortion. We don't need you here. We were
Yeah,
brought here to produce, not to
produce
fall
work.
in love. Now, wasn't no
No,
falling in love.
no,
You act like you were in
produce
love with the
workers.
woman,
Yeah,
they shipped you to
yeah,
another farm.
yeah. There's a whole, and Dr. Claude Anderson probably would love this book. There's a whole like an 800-page book called the American Slave Coast, where um, they intentionally cut off the external slave trade so South Carolina and Virginia could actually start slave farms where it can actually reproduce slaves to be shipped out to the rest of the United States. So it's
And that is
yeah,
interesting, Keith, because
mm,
what would happen is they
mm,
brought you here to reproduce. If
mm-hmm,
you act like you were in love with Sally Sue,
yeah,
you found yourself shipped to another farm because
that's
they
a
didn't
farm.
bring you here
No,
to fall in love and
no,
to get
no,
married. They
yeah,
brought you here to produce
to
a
produce. No,
work hand.
yeah, and
See,
so the black family is fractured is because black women have been socialized to believe, and if you read Black Lives Matter (BLM) even in their literature, right? A black family is a woman and her children. Okay, the man is not part of the black family.
wow, wow.
So
So
that's
we
like when
have
the
to
marriage is breaking down. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, we have to understand that
Hmm.
dynamic, Keith, and we
Hmm.
really gonna have to look at the role of the black woman.
Right.
And when we start talking about the role, we cannot let anybody else define what that role is, because
Hmm.
we came up in a culture where our mothers would say to their daughters, "Go to college, get a good education, and find a man to sit you down."
Hmm.
Emulating the white, emulating the
Yeah. No.
Caucasian, because she saw the
Yeah.
white woman sitting down. But she never thought
Hmm.
about the fact that she's sitting down because she had you up. She
Yeah.
got auntie up. She got grandmama up,
Hmm.
nursing her baby, washing her clothes, doing everything. That's why she was at the house. But our, parents back in the day, they didn't realize that. They just wanted you to be like Miss Ann. Find a man to sit you down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, folks, healing a black woman and looking at the challenge is going to change the world. It's going to change our culture. Those myths, those stereotypes got to go. You're not the backbone of anything. So I don't want black women ever talking about I'm an independent. I'm the backbone of the family. You're not the backbone of anything. So you don't need to say that anymore. That's one of the challenges. The other challenge is, Keith,
Yes.
black women,
Hmm.
50% are head of household,
Hmm. Yeah.
and 50% are black women who get married and divorce.
Hmm.
And when
Well,
you're looking at,
actually
yeah,
higher than that. It's actually higher than that, but
right, and you're looking at 67% of the children that are born in the black family are
hmm.
born to unmarried women.
Hmm.
That's a challenge within itself, because now, particularly in a down economic economy, you're talking about someone with 2 or 3 children. Now they're trying to find someone that they want to get married to.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of men out there, you can tell me if I'm right, Keith, who really love some of these women with children,
Hmm.
but they don't feel economically strong enough to take on that
It,
responsibility.
it,
So they rather shack with you versus get married to you.
well, the thing is, and this is something that because I talk to a lot of men, right? And in previous previous generations, um, there was an understanding between that woman and that man. So if that woman brought children to that man, then those children were under that man. Okay, there was an understanding, and even amongst the fathers, they understood if those children are in your household, you're the man of that household, and they
Right.
have to follow your lead, right? But but feminism has embedded itself into the black female psyche. So now my kids are my kids, and because you take care of them and you feed them, you don't have a right to chastise them. You don't have a right to discipline them. You don't have a right to talk to them. Those are my kids, not your kids. And that's when a lot of black men now get off the bus. Okay, if those are your kids, and I'm going to be disrespected, I'm not going to get anything out of this, blah blah blah. Then guess what? I'm not taking you and your children. So that's what's happening right now.
So now you're saying they're actually, uh, but how much do you think economic plays into it right now? Because
Not
I
a
know
lot.
back
Not
in
a
the
lot.
day,
Hmm.
you talk about stepfather. Uh, People didn't see it that way. He was the man of the house. Wasn't
Yeah.
no such thing as he stepped. He was the man of the house.
Yeah.
But you're right. These new breed,
Hmm.
this is, especially when you got 2 or 3 baby daddies and they
Oh
all
gosh.
have different ideas about
Yeah.
how the child should be
Yeah.
raised. That's a
Yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
That is a
I mean,
mess.
it's always been that way because my grandmother had 9 children by 4 different men. But the thing is, there was always an understanding in the black community, okay, that this was, our engineer Jamal says this is a black family is a survival arc, okay. How can you survive and get these children to the next generation, right? And sometimes those men are disappeared, they die, they leave, whatever happens, right? But the family and these children still have to go on. So there was an agreement between black men and black women that even if you did have several, different children by different men, it was okay. We're going to make this work. But that time has passed.
Wow. Wow. Well, let me give the phone number out for those who want to chime in. Folks, we got to do something. We got to fix black women. We have to fix black women if we intend to be
Hmm. Yeah.
on equal ground in this country. Dr. Anderson said we would become the economic underclass by
Yeah.
2013, and
Oh,
we have
we
actually,
are. Oh, we're going to
we're
get.
there.
And
We're
then they
there.
bring. And then they're bringing immigrants on top of us to bury us down even further. But I want to say something before we go on, Dr. Rosie. When you said, I always remember years ago when I first heard you, you said black women and men are reared in reverse order of nature, right? In
Yeah.
every single stat between black men and black women, you can see it. As far as marriage, as far as divorce, as far as out of wedlock births, it shows up in the numbers. So you are 100% spot on. I think you should write a book, just using the stats that black men and women are in the reverse order of nature because that is dense and it shows up because
It does.
because black women if you read the stats, right, black women are divorced way more than they're married. Okay,
Yeah.
their divorce rates are double their marriage rates. And
Eh,
that's not true for everybody else.
yeah.
Everybody else is the opposite.
That's right. And they go into marriage
Yeah,
not expecting to stay.
no.
That's the sad part.
The average
I'm
black
gonna
marriage is
put
5 years.
my stuff in storage because
Yeah,
just in case
yeah.
it doesn't work.
You
I
know, you
mean,
know, you know who's worse at that? Believe it or not, who's
oh,
worse at that are lesbians, right? Lesbians call it the U-Haul marriage. Okay,
wow.
and
Isn't that amazing? Like black girls used to grow up expecting to be molested, expecting to be
yes,
raped.
expect
Expecting that to happen.
expect
Now you get married, expected it
to be
to
abused.
end
Yeah,
in a divorce.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Folks, so I don't give the number out. We're going to talk about some of the other challenges that face black women. And I want black men to understand this is not just about black women, and it is, but it's looking at you saying, what can you do? They
Hmm.
have changed the situation. You have a young lady out there who off the chart that had never had a father. I feel so sorry for women who have never ever had someone that really loved them to marry them, and then they never had a father, never had a man in their life that they knew loved them,
Hmm.
not even a father. Keith, that must be a hard pill to swallow. When I look at
Hmm.
these single women out here, if you've been married, at least the
Hmm.
women can say, when you ask the question, it's funny when you said, are you married? How a big smile come over their face, Keith. No, but
Hmm.
I've been married. In other words, somebody did marry me, whether I
Hmm.
stayed with them or not. They
Hmm.
want to fulfill that role that somebody asked me to be their wife. That's why women jump into marriage. They know damn well ain't gonna work.
Yeah,
Should
yeah.
not even be for them. But I'm gonna take this chance so I can say I've been married.
But the thing is, if you ask them why did you get divorced, okay, why did you leave him, and that's when they get off the bus. That's when they start. Their mouth drops open because 9 times out of 10 was no good reason. I was just mad one day.
So that's why the question would be now,
Hmm.
why did you leave him? It
Why'd you
needs
leave
to
him?
be,
Yeah.
why did
Okay.
you get married?
Is it because
That needs to be the question, Keith. Why did you get married? If
because
that
they
will
had
answer the question why you left.
because they have all they have these black dating shows, right? There's one popular. I can't remember her name right now, right? And she always asks. She always has to ask because she's been doing it for so long, right? Especially with black women, right? She says, "Okay, do you have children?" And she always has to ask by how many men. And then she asks, how old's the youngest? And sometimes the youngest is like 3 or 4, right? Okay, so you had a baby by him. Why didn't you? How come it didn't work out between you and the father? And it's always some kind of nebulous reason. Okay.
Keith, there's two things that black
Mm-hmm.
women want. I think all women want, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more of a burden for black women.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they want a father,
Okay.
and they end up marrying men that they shouldn't because they want a father. They want, in
Okay.
other words, I want a man to hold me. I want
Okay.
that energy of a male.
Okay.
So they end up with the wrong man. They're looking for love in the
Yeah.
wrong place.
Okay.
So I have to ask women sometimes, when you
Mm-hmm.
get married, are you in love? Or are
Okay.
you in need? Are you in need of a father to raise your children?
And a secondary thing, Dr. Rosie, I would say, okay, to women that to women that already have children, right, or are already not in place, already didn't have the father. Are you raising your sons to be companions? Or are you raising them to be fathers and husbands? And nine
They
times out of
make
ten,
it.
they're making companions and not
Yeah.
fathers and husbands. Okay.
Keith, you hit it right on the head. A lot of these women are really making these sons of theirs. They're kind of like their husbands.
Their husbands, son
They
husbands. Yeah.
bossing. They tell them what you want me to do. They telling you
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
They telling you what
Yeah.
man can come in your life
Yeah.
because they want to stay in your house and do nothing forever. And they know a real man going.
Yeah.
When I
It's,
say put his foot down, I mean it's
yeah.
going to stand up and
Yeah.
challenge you to be a man. And she don't want the
You,
son to be challenged.
well, you know what, Dr. Rosie, and this is something that I'm trying to get Dr. Johnson to write a book on, okay, is male emotional labor, is because it's unidentified. And what black women don't realize is that black men have to do a lot of it. And black women, because of the position that they're in, they need way more emotional labor from their men than most other groups of women. And the thing is that if they can't get it from their husband or their boyfriend or some outside source, guess who they're going to get to give them that emotional lift, that emotional
Their
labor? It's going to be their
son,
son.
their
Yeah, their
son,
son.
their
Yeah.
son, their
Yes.
son. Let me get the number out. You know, I done got on the road. We got
And,
people want to talk to us, and I want
oh,
to
it's
hear what
hot.
they have
Yeah,
to
it's
say.
hot. Yeah.
The number is 310-928-7733. 310-928-7733. Call and talk to us. We're talking about the three greatest challenges black women face
Hmm.
today.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's
Re,
a
re, re,
heavy burden.
repeat them real quick. But
310
yeah.
310-928-7733.
And,
The three greatest challenges. Number one is that stereotype. The
mm-hmm.
stereotype, the myth of the strong black woman is wearing black women down. The other one is the fear of never getting married. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of their fears. And that fear is so strong, and that's why it's easy for the woman to just to cohabitate. Just say, well, I'll take you anywhere it comes. You don't want to marry me. If I stay with you long enough, and if I'm good to you, if I, put it on you right, y'all know. Some of y'all don't know what that is, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole class by itself about putting it on the right. Okay, that's our night talk show. Then he'll love me. But I want you to know, and I'm gonna say this loud and strong: sex isn't enough to hold a long-lasting relationship. So you
Good.
can forget about that. So sisters out there who think you got it going on so in the bed,
Mm-hmm.
don't think you the queen of nothing.
Are
Okay?
you a wife or are you a sex partner? Those two are
Yes,
different.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because when the road get tough, and you guys know those who've been out there that's been married, when the bills get to hitting you in the butt,
Mm-hmm.
when things get tough, that
Mm-hmm.
sex that was so good, you don't even want it anymore. Somebody holler if you hear me out there. Holler if you hear me. So it's not about that.
No.
Ah! What the,
Oh,
uh,
she
Shawannah,
speaks now.
what's the Bible got to say about that? Come on,
What does she want? I want to hear what Shawannah got to say about it. That's what I want to hear.
shoot, you trying to figure out how you used to make her feel, and you trying to figure out how come it's not that way anymore because you broke, you busted, you disgusted. All of those things really impact those relationships. So you're looking at the stereotype. Isn't it amazing for a woman to feel like, well, even if I get married, what if
Uh-huh.
it don't last? Those are fears. I don't think other women walk around with those fears every day. And like when I was on Sally Jesse Raphael's show talking about satisfying the black man, This white woman said to me, "You just started a mess because we are no different." I had to check her. I said, "Number one, you're not black." And
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Number two, if you and your husband divorce, you
Mm-hmm.
stand a better chance to getting child support because your husband stand a better chance to get a better job and getting
Mm-hmm.
better pay.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, if you and your husband at home by yourself and your 16-year-old son went to the movie and 12 o'clock he's not home, you can be loved. You can be passionate making love. You comfortable. But I'm not. Because I don't know if the police have arrested him or someone who looked like him have done something to him. So don't you try in any shape, form, or fashion to compare your situation with mine. And I think that's the only time that black women really begin to realize that you are not Caucasian clone. You
Mm-hmm.
do have differences, and it does impact you from the boardroom to the bedroom. I'm just saying, let's take some calls. Do we have calls on the board, Keith?
Yeah, we got several. Um,
Okay, let's take some calls. Let's see
okay.
what they got to say.
We got let's take 323 first.
Okay, go ahead, 323. Talk to us.
Was that me?
That's you.
Yes, that's you.
Name and where you
Oh,
calling from?
okay.
I'm a
This is Paul calling from. Wait a minute. Two of us talking at the same time, or what?
Go ahead, Paul. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Paul first. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, this is Paul from LA, and you guys were talking about Chat GPT. This is Chat TVW, Dr. Rosie. This is
Okay.
your morning wake up call. You're so great. You're a wonderful person, and you need to keep remembering that. We can work something out. I can call you every day and remind you of that. Okay.
Thank you, Paul.
Now,
Thank you.
got a question for Keith. All right,
Yes,
because
sir.
I've been curious in what I'll just call black male spaces. All right. Now, is emotional labor? What is the difference between emotional labor and non-sexual male attention? Are they the same thing or what?
They are the same thing because anything that makes you feel good, makes you feel better, that you crave, that's not sometimes non-physical is emotional labor. Whatever makes you feel good or what makes you feel better that you depend on is in attention is part of it, especially for women. Okay, it's part of emotional labor. In fact, I was listening to this white comedian, right, and something she said struck me. She said black men give the best compliments, right? A black man can actually look at a woman and take the part that she doesn't like about herself and make her feel better about it. Okay, but we don't get credit for that. That's part of emotional labor. That's part of male attention that black women crave.
Yeah, and
Okay,
black women
now,
crave. Men tend to hold your thought, Paul. Men tend to think that that women are craving sex when they're really craving intimacy. Intimacy. Sometimes they just want a hug, and
Mm-hmm.
if they embrace you as a hug, and because you get an erection, you think you need to do something. Let me serve notice to you men out there, okay? You don't have to do anything with every erection you get. I mean, you get erection watching football game if the
Right.
wind blow hard.
Mm-hmm.
So you supposed to do something with that. Go somewhere and sit down with
But
that
but but
erection,
but,
okay?
but, but who taught black men that black men are walking penises, right? Who taught us that? Who taught us that was the most important thing to a black woman? And who gets mad at black men if they can't perform that?
hello.
I don't think no. See, you guys got it twisted.
No,
I
no, we
talk to
don't.
women
We
all
don't.
the time, and they're
Okay.
saying, "I just rather, the intimacy. If the man doesn't, I mean, it's more to it. See, people need to really bring this conversation up early in life. Because
Mm-hmm.
if your penis is the only thing you have going for yourself, you're gonna be in trouble. You're
Uh,
gonna be in trouble. You better have something more in that
it's
relationship than your penis.
that's night talk. But the thing is, when black men that have dated outside the race can tell you there's a difference between your expectations of sex uh, between a black woman and a black man. I mean, a black woman and a white woman. Okay, what
Okay, now
what you
you
have, what
need
you
to
have to
talk
bring?
about that right now because you're coming up
Oh,
with some
oh,
mess,
okay.
Keith.
I'm not. What
I
I'm
was going to
saying.
ask
You
him
get
the same
messy.
thing. I want to
You
know
get
what the
Okay.
messy.
difference was.
You get messy.
Me curious. I'm
You
curious.
you can tell me where the line is, because this is a woman's show and I want to respect the boundaries of a woman's show. Okay,
Now
okay,
I want to hear the truth.
oh,
The truth
okay,
shall set
oh,
you
oh,
free.
oh,
What's the difference
okay,
in
okay,
loving a white woman than a black woman?
okay. A white woman will come in and she's thinking that her orgasm is less important than yours. Okay, your to a white woman, your orgasm, your feeling good sexually is more important than how she feels sexually. Right? Okay. Black
Okay.
women see the exact opposite. Right? If you are not good in bed, and I've experienced this myself. Okay, a black woman will ruin your reputation. From grade school on. Okay,
Yes,
it's because
I concur.
you are expected to be a mandingo. You're expected to give her pleasure. You're expected. I see the women. You hear the women laughing in the background. They know what I'm talking about. Okay, and
Well,
I'm not lying.
see, Keith,
But
that's
No, I
called
oh,
a
don't agree
white.
with that. I don't agree with that.
okay. But the
That's
thing, the thing,
I don't agree with that.
okay. You don't agree with it, but the thing is,
No, I do not agree with it.
hold on, hold on. What it's saying is, but you're not a white woman, okay? And you have not dated white women because
But I am a black woman,
I
and I
she's
understand.
know that,
she's half
so
white.
I'm
She's
not.
half
you're
white.
speaking for
Shawana's half
herself. Be
white.
quiet.
What I'm saying is I'm not talking about particulars, right? What I'm talking what I'm saying is that a lot of black men, okay, go into
Okay, I'm gonna speak for the black woman and the white woman then.
okay. A lot of black men, and I have clients right now that are dating outside, right? They're dating Latinas, dating white, dating Asian, and they all say that basically that woman is when he's trying to yada yada yada, right? And she says, "Well, I've never really had orgasms like this before," right? And a black man looks at her like, "What are you talking about?" Right? And she says, "I'm not expected to have orgasms. I'm expected to give him orgasms. My role is not to get them. My role is to give them." And that's consistent across the board. In fact, they don't know what to do. In fact, I've heard white dating coaches, right, which perplexed me when I first got into these spaces, right, would say that your woman's orgasm is not important. Okay, your frame and what you do and you being masculine is more important than her orgasm. And it used to perplex me because that's not how I was raised. And then I started to learn there's a difference in culture. There's a difference in how black men are seen and how black men have to show up.
So are you saying
Like,
to me that the white woman gets an orgasm and she feels like, wow, what happened?
no, no. In other words, she's not used to her orgasm being prioritized.
Because she's not used to the
Okay.
black man. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So,
basically, what you're saying. So
mhm,
basically, what you're saying is that you give pleasure to the white woman and let
no,
her
no,
feel good and give her the
no.
compliments. But what about the black women? I
Oh
mean,
no, no.
what do you do?
What I'm saying is, and this is what white women say. The thing is that when black men do these things, it's so ordinary, right? In fact, sometimes it's so ordinary that black women get irritated when we do it, right? Okay, why he talking about my legs and calling me brown satisfied? He just wants some, right? Whereas a white woman, she doesn't get that. So when a black man does it to her, she feels special. Is because her white man doesn't do that. Like the comedian says, you ever heard if you dated white men, you know how they give you a compliment? You walk in, you doll yourself up, and he said, "Oh, you look nice." Okay. And she said that, right? And she says where a black man will take the worst part about you and make you feel good about it, right? And he said she said she's walking up to a black man and she's chunky, right? And he said, girl, is that cellulite?" And she said, "Oh, my goodness, you're making me blush." In other words, she takes the worst part of her, and I know I do that too. I'll take the worst part of what she doesn't feel good about, and I'll make her think that part is special.
Keith,
We've
let me
we've been
say
trained to do
this,
that.
and then
Good.
we're gonna go back to the call. I think what I hear you saying is you're saying that the white women focus on the gratification for her man,
Right.
and the black woman focus on the fact that the man is going to make her
Her
feel
gratified.
good.
Yes. Yes.
That's what he's
Yes.
saying.
It's
He's
just a
saying that
different focus.
that's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Well, only thing I can say, We're going to take another call. I'm going to say some of this for the night show because you about to stir me up in here.
You
I ain't
asked.
going to say this tonight.
You asked.
I ain't getting put out to church. I went to church Sunday, too. Come to think of it. I went
I
to
did
church.
too. I've been going to church too all the time now.
Oh,
God is
that's
calling us
good.
back.
Ooh,
He's
that,
But
calling us back.
it was a church that I hadn't been to before, so they hadn't heard of my reputation, so they accepted me. Go ahead, Paul. Paul, you had something
I
else to
went
say?
to.
yeah, and real quick, Paul, and we're gonna get to the next caller because she wants to get. I heard her laughing in the background. We can get to her.
Okay.
Okay. Well, all right. Keith, you were mentioning something about a lady having a thing on YouTube talking about relationships. I think you're talking about Kendra G or whatever.
Yes.
All right.
G. Yes.
But the one thing that bugs me is this show, what they call it, pop the balloon. That is a humiliation ritual. I don't see how these brothers go through it. And I was kind of cheering for that brother, who turned out that he had all other kind of stuff going on. But he stood up for himself, whereas most of the other folks were, oh, okay, Queen, and all that. I'm like, wait a minute, you're gonna talk about me bad and everything, and you ain't got nothing going for you. And I'm halfway deep. You gonna talk about me like I'm lower than the gum on your shoe?
It's part of emotional labor, right? Basically, and I've heard my girlfriends, it's stuff like that. They say the exact same thing. They go to the club so they can turn down men, and then come back and they compare notes how they humiliated the men at the club. And black men are supposed to supply the fodder for that and be okay with it.
Okay.
So
but now you're complaining because guys aren't going to those clubs anymore.
Well, Paul, we got to remember this is a woman's show and it's daytime. So we'll get into that at another time.
We'll get into it in the nighttime. I'm gonna create the nighttime.
Let me know when you got that night show so I can call in next.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this dynamic is we haven't done we talk about it, we perform it, we never dig into why, and that's what I like about Dr. Rosie. She digs into why we actually do stuff instead of what we actually do.
Absolutely. Right. So those who are just chiming in, we're talking about today, we're talking about the three greatest challenges for black women face. And one of those is because of the stereotype that she's strong, she can weather the storm, you can do anything to her, you can tie her up and throw her in the river, she'll come back up, swim, and grab you and hug you again. Okay?
That is
she's resilient, you can ball her up and throw her out and she come back because she's going to embrace you because she's strong, she can take it, you guys. She's made like that, okay?
Well, the fact that I just heard a woman repeat the same thing I heard was said in 1930s, black women are the mules of the world, and that's what that's the stance that they carry. They bend into that myth. But the next caller, 323, I heard you laughing, so go ahead and jump in, baby. And what's your name? Where you calling from?
Caller, go ahead.
Go ahead. Get yourself off mute.
Hello. Well, I guess that would be me.
Yes, it would be you.
So this is Dr. Andrea Anthony.
Oh,
hi, Dr. Andrea.
Hello, everyone.
Great.
So I tried to make some notes because you all hit a whole bunch of topics. I was trying to keep up. But I want to say early on, Dr. Rosie talked about women who, are looking for love because possibly they didn't have a father, whatever. So unfortunately, I'm one of those women that she's talking about.
Okay.
And who has never really had the opportunity to experience to be genuinely loved by a man. And it started with my father, with my own father.
Okay.
And then I did get married. I did not marry my husband because I was looking for a father figure, and I didn't marry him because I need my daughter to have a father because she had her own dad.
So why'd you marry him? So why did you marry him?
I married him because at the time I thought that we had a good friendship and also that I genuinely loved him. But unfortunately, the person I married had some mental issues.
Oh, okay.
So I won't go into details about that, but it was
Okay.
all a facade.
Okay.
But thank God I'm delivered from that.
Okay. It happens.
And then I also wanted to say that I feel that women carry the burden of being independent and being strong Black women because of different factors, that we have to be single parents. We have to be the head of our own households. A lot of times we have to work hard.
Okay.
We have to carry the load of the household and our family if our mate or our spouse lose their job.
In other words, and this is something that Pauli Murray said, why that back when she's actually one of the co-founders of feminism, right? Segway feminism. She said the exact same thing, that Black men were undependable and unreliable because of white supremacy and what white supremacy could do to that man. So it's better to pour into the women than to the men. And she said that back in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that, but it's not that we're looking for that, but when we are met with circumstances.
But you believe it, though, right?
Well, I believe it because we had to
that
do
role.
it.
Yeah, she's saying
we're
we're
forced into
that role. What do you do?
In other words, but the thing is, what do you do? But how do you change it? How do you change it? Let me jump in. The only thing we can change is how we rear these boys that we have now. Exactly.
The cycle has to be broken. You got to reach out, find men to be in their lives, and when these men come in their lives, don't you try to show up with your negligee, and don't you try to show up and try to make it a relationship. No, I'm real about that, because there are men.
What I'm saying is, it has to start before that man gets to be a man. It has to start with when that man.
Right, we have to start now.
And do we raise our?
It starts with a village. It starts with these men taking some responsibility. My daughter told me how she have asked the men at her church to mentor these young boys. Haven't not one raised their hand, so you got women trying to take them to ball games. What is wrong with these Black men? You know the problem. So you all need to let me finish. You all need to get up off your rusty Humpty Dumpty and start going out here. When you see this woman struggling with this boy, you see your niece, you see your sister, you see your cousin. Damn it, get up and go do something.
Okay. Can I retort? Okay.
And then
hold on. Give the boys to their father. Give the boys to their
father. If there's a father around to give them to.
There has to be a father around, because you had the baby with the boy with the man. Okay.
But they have to want to keep. There's a lot of men now.
Yeah, but they have to want them. Not just because you have fathers. Your fathers just not.
Make the you can pass.
You can't make a man.
You cannot make a man.
And you don't want to turn your child over to any man.
You definitely don't want to turn your child over to someone that don't want him.
This is a whole.
Keith, hold your thought, everybody.
One
at a time. You can't make a black man. You can't make a black man do nothing.
Black men fight.
And you don't want to either, especially for your child. You don't want to force somebody to take care of your child.
Black men fight. Black men fight for their children all the time. Okay.
A few.
No. Not a few. All the time. Okay. They fight for their kids all the time. The thing is, black men have gotten into the course and figured out that what's the use of fighting for your kids? Because I get into a court. I'm a black man. I have my shots are slim to none. Okay, and they had this belief, if you really want to change it, give the boys to their father, okay, and make it a mind.
We're going to come back to that, because a lot of the fathers. We're
going to make a whole new show on that one.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. Keith, let's do a whole show around that. Because many of the black fathers don't even have a place to stay themselves. A lot of them don't have jobs or not making their income. Let's just face the fact. And I'm not saying it's their fault, Keith. Hold tight. I'm not saying it's their fault. Because we're looking at the fact that a lot of women, back even from slavery, The black woman was able to go to school when the black man had to go to the field and pick cotton and do the stuff. So if I can take y'all back, if I can get our community to
Hmm.
go back and
Okay.
bring them up to the date, we can change this dynamic. They don't want to go back. Oh, you always talking about the past. You got to understand the past in order to know how to get to the future. Now, Dr. Andre, let
Hmm.
me hear, let me finish hearing what you have to say about this topic. We're gonna have to do. I think we have to do part 2 next week.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Dr.
Yeah,
Andre.
well, I was just saying that, basically, like you said, that, we're forced into these roles. Do we want to bear the responsibility and have all of that on us? No, we don't. We would really like to be in partnership with the parent, the father, in order to accomplish and make sure that our children are successful. But I do want to add that I was just at the funeral of my pastor who passed away recently, and his grandson spoke on behalf of the family, and he said that he loved his grandfather because he stepped in as a grandfather and a father for him because his father wasn't in his life. And then he had admonished to the men in the church. He said, I'm asking you to please step up and help us, these boys who don't have fathers. We really need you all to step up and fill in the gap that's missing. So I thought that was very profound for him to reach out, and the church was full of people at West Angeles. And that's what he asked for from the men in that congregation.
There's an old saying, right? It's better to raise strong children than heal broken men. Okay,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
and we're not
And I'm
raising strong children. That's the
right.
problem.
And I'm going to say to the women out there, if you get married to a man who has children, allow that man to be in those children's lives, because you got some of these scallywag women who thinking you still want that ex-wife, still thinking you want that ex-girlfriend, that you don't embrace the kid. It's a package deal. If you can't embrace the seed of this man that you
Hmm.
saying you love, something wrong with you. And
Yeah.
it's something wrong with the man who allowed you to make him disown or not relate to his seed. I'm just
Hmm.
putting that out there.
There
And
is
I know
something
you
wrong.
women gonna be calling up here talking no call up here talking no
Hmm.
smack.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. You
Yeah.
you you intimidated by the ex-wife. You intimidated by the ex-girlfriend. Where do you stand? What is your
Hmm.
problem?
Hmm.
Why should you be with this man if you intimidated by his past?
Yeah, I mean, there are cases where, and like in Dr. Andrea's situation, where she couldn't stay married, right? But 90% of the time, that is not the case. They ask them why they
Keith,
left.
we
How
have
come?
so
Yeah, go ahead.
a lot of, and
Sorry.
see, one thing we caught up with this economic thing.
Hmm.
He ain't providing this. He not bringing in the bacon.
The, the
You know,
the Latinos don't have that problem. How come then they're poorer than we are?
Keith, there are people who are having conversation
Hmm.
in their churches, in their synagogue.
Hmm.
We are the only group of people. And when I came out trying to talk about the relationship and sexuality and how this impacting our family, people
Hmm.
wanted to throw me under the bus. But now every time you look up, if you go Google ministers who are on Facebook who has had incidents with molestation and prostitution, I mean, I don't even want you to go look because there's so many. But what I'm saying is, we are the one that's not able to come to the table and talk about real issues. That's why I want to talk about real issues. We got to save our people from this madness.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Why are you laying down with this man that having a baby by that you know you wouldn't marry? You knew he wasn't going to marry you when you had sex with him.
And, and,
You
and,
knew you didn't
and,
even want to marry him. You just want to have
he,
sex. Now,
this is the difference between a black man and a black woman, right? A black man does not want to have a baby by his concubine, right? By his side chick, right? A black woman will have a baby by her concubine.
Well, a
Okay.
black man should not have sex with a woman. That if you
Well,
can't marry that woman, this is what my
it,
dad said.
mm,
If you can't marry her,
yeah, yeah.
don't go to bed with her, cause a
Yeah,
baby is a possibility.
and vice versa. The thing is, why, with in this modern day and era where they have 41 means of birth control, right? Why are you having a baby by your concubine?
Well, I say this:
Hmm.
stop going to men. Let me say this to the men: stop,
Good
stop
luck.
putting your penis in
Good luck.
every skirt tail that would raise that dress up. That's all I'm doing. Y'all done piss me off here.
That's why I didn't want to talk about it, Dr. Rosie. You're gonna go
Shawannah,
on.
tell them what the Bible said. Y'all seeing it? You going to hell? You hellbound? No, really, folks. I know sex is real. It's an emotional thing,
And I think we have
but
one more caller at from
we have to
310.
do it account. Go ahead, 310. We just have to be responsible. Men and women, let's be responsible when we have sex, okay? Nothing wrong with sex. It's good when it's good. But
Did we get all the callers?
let's
I
be
thought we had one more
responsible.
call.
Caller, go ahead.
I think the other caller hung up.
Okay, this show is going to re-air, I believe, at 6 o'clock. You guys need
Oh,
to
it's gonna be
tell your
hot.
friends. Yeah, they need to get on. We At some point we're gonna have to come back and talk about part two. No, we got to iron this stuff out. We got to get it together. So the
Ooh,
black woman stereotype is a great challenge. The fact that she may never get married makes her take the first train going through because she thinks another train is not coming through. That's a challenge.
yeah.
Women getting married to the wrong man just to say I'm married because that tends to be an acceptance script
Eh,
for a woman to get married. Same
You
thing
know,
with children.
you know how
They
old
want
the
to have a child.
you know how old the A9 woman speech is? It's almost 200 years old. Okay.
Okay.
And so that sentiment about strong black woman has been around since then. Okay, that she's as good as, strong as, and sometimes better than her black man.
Yeah, ball her up, throw her in the pool, throw her in the ocean. She'll
Mm-hmm.
swim back to you every time because she's
Yeah,
a tough black woman. You
she's
guys
tough
better get
cookie.
up out
Yes,
of here.
yeah, yeah. And
So
she don't need you. Okay,
she don't need any help. She can do it by
she by
herself. She's
herself,
independent.
and she
That
can.
is not what we are saying. We are
Mm,
not saying that. Black women are not saying that today.
I
You
can,
can
I can,
hold a stereotype, but that's not what we are.
I
We
can do
want
bad.
men to be men.
I can do bad all by myself. Okay.
No, no. You guys, well, this show is coming to an end. It's been great, Dr. Andre. All
Thank
those
you.
who called
Appreciate
in, we appreciate you. We're going to have to do part two to this show because I have much more to say. And I tell you, and when I get off the show, I got something to say to Keith. I can't say it over the air. And Shawannah didn't tell us nothing about
you.
what the Bible says. What's wrong with you, Shawannah?
She want to have a few things probably to say to me too. So.
Okay, you guys, same time next week. See ya. You guys have a great day.